Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, just making sure everybody can hear me correctly. One second, everybody. I'm trying to figure out my mic. Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can everybody hear me correctly? Okay. There we go. Now it's working. Viewers, welcome back. Oh. Now is it working? Oh my goodness. Why is this so messed up? There we go. Oh my goodness. I don't know why my mic was all over the place. Hopefully there's no further issues. But viewers, welcome back to LSR Group 4. I know this is a little bit of technical difficulties at the start. I was trying to figure out everything. I wasn't planning on doing any of this. That's why I'm kind of all over the place. But if you all can hear me, hopefully you can. There's no tech issues. Welcome to Group 4. I'm actually just going to make sure that you guys can hear me. There we go. Okay, you guys can. Okay, perfect. Okay. Sorry, I've been kind of all over the place. I had to rush real quickly from another live stream I was doing to commentate on this. Then I had to set up the lobby quickly, which I wasn't planning to do. And then I was planning to do commentary, and didn't expect to do that either. And yes, now here I'm doing commentary again. So, yeah, a little bit of a crazy day, if I'm being honest. I've been streaming. Oh, that reminds me. Forgot. Oh my goodness. My stupid cable isn't working. My cable isn't working correctly, so I'm trying to work out how I can do this. You know what? One moment. Probably way worse audio quality right now, and that's because I'm trying to work out how I can do this because my cable broke, of course. What are the odds? What are the odds? Apologies. We will have full, uninterrupted commentary for the race for sure. I just gotta find my other cable, my backup cable. I can find it somewhere. Where is it? As someone who deals with these tech issues quite a bit, I'm always trying to figure out where everything is. Voila, here we go. All right, now I can get this all set up and good to go. I have to use my recording thing. Diego, yes, you can race. If you can hear me, yes, you can. Oh my goodness. Finally. Finally, I am back with a proper cable that actually works this time. The other one doesn't for some reason. We have another driver. Diego, what is your EA so I can get you in here real quickly? We have 7 minutes left. Hopefully I can get you in. What is your EA? Hold on a second. I'm going to try and get our last driver in that wasn't expected to join, but is able to make it now, so that's good news. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Do I... Hopefully I can. How do I don't know if I can get... If I can get friend requests. Diego, if you're listening to this stream, I'm gonna try and get you in here. You have to friend request me though, in order to join. I have 6 minutes to get you in here. Hopefully I can, in time. While that's happening, I'll watch this Alpine. Kyle's currently on top as we're speaking right now, but let me see if I can quickly get you in. I don't think I can, like, add a friend by... I'm trying to figure out how I can do this. Invite request, boom, settings. Where is the thing where it shows how to get friend requests? I don't even know if this is gonna work, but we'll see how it goes. Settings. Shoot, this was not how this was supposed to go, but I'm gonna try my best. Friend requests. Okay. Well, in the meantime, while Diego can try and friend request me. There we go. Okay, friend request received. Oh, hold on a second. Come on, please, 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 please. Boom. I've accepted Diego, and now I'm gonna try and get him in. Quickly. Is he online? Where is he? Is he maybe PlayStation? Don't see him anywhere. Maybe it has to update. My goodness. I'm so sorry, viewers. I know that this is not what you want to see of me scrolling through names, but as the host and the commentator, I have to do both at the same time. Oh, Diego got in. Okay. I don't know how he got in, but he got in. Thank goodness. Okay, now I can properly do my job as commentator. Here we are for the Group 4 LSR Round 3 event in Britain. This is the British Grand Prix. I'm Formula Joan, your commentator, and I apologize for the 10 to 15 minutes of tech issues of me trying to figure out a cable, trying to get people in, trying to last minute do everything when I wasn't supposed to, and all that sort of thing. But yeah, Kyle is currently on top. Carmack Kyle in the Aston Martin. A 136.5 is the only driver in the 1 minute 36. But, viewers, there are some major changes heading into this event that I want to highlight. 2 drivers are moving on from Group 4 and have been promoted to Group number 3. One driver is actually here today. He's not qualifying because he's moving on to Group 3. That's Mr. Lethal Pete. You may have seen him driving the Ferrari. He has been promoted to Group 3, and so has Crazy Ghost. Those are the top 2 in the championship. So they've been promoted to Group 3, meaning that we are going to see a much more equal field. We noticed that Pete and Crazy Ghost were pretty competitive. They were very quick, and we noticed that they actually had Group 3 pace. So we moved them on, we promoted them, we contacted them and said, okay, here, we have some seats open in Group 3, get in, show what you can do, and be a part of the higher tier. So that's what we did. We progressed them into that top tier. So that is why Pete is starting at the back. That is why Crazy Ghost, who's usually in the Mercedes, is not racing today. So we have a little bit of a mixed up order, and this is how it's going to be from now on, because the 2 fastest guys really are not here anymore. So Carmad Kyle is the fastest driver right now. He has improved by 0.3 of a second, and that's likely because of the intermediate tires that we've been seeing. So the Aston Martin is currently in P1. It's right on board with Kyle as he comes through the old pit straight, heading into Cops at turn 9. Pretty good through Maggots and Beckett's. Let's see what he can do through the Hainer Straight. So here comes Carbat Kyle to the line. Let's see what he can do. 136.5. He improves to 135.415. That is the quickest lap as of right now, but that could be beaten because of these conditions that we're seeing out on track. A Flower in the Dark is about 0.2 up on his time, 138.3. Flower hasn't been racing with us for a while because he hasn't been able to make the races, but now he's officially back. Also, Oreo is full-time in the Racing Bulls, so we finally have both Racing Bulls drivers here racing with us, and both Kick Saubers are also racing with us for the very first time. Sometimes it's been one of them, sometimes it's been the other, but now it's officially both of them on track at the same time. A Flower in the Dark coming through turn 15. Looking pretty good so far. Chizpros is also starting his lap. Let's see what the Alpine can do. He was quick in Belgium, I think, Imola it was, and Belgium. Flower in the Dark comes skating across the line, goes P3 with a 137.7. Very good lap time from the Racing Bulls driver. Who else is on a lap? Let's take a look. We have a Williams coming across the line. I think it's Johnny. Johnny's about 0.5 up on his time. He's skating through the final corner of Vale. Into turn 18 we come, and here comes the Williams to the line. He improves, but doesn't improve on his position. Who's next across the line? Ferrari. I think that's Zudi. Zudi in the Ferrari is next. He's invalidated though, so the next will be the Red Bull of, I believe, Oreo. Let's see what Oreo can do. To the line goes P2, 137.6. Very impressive time. That was competitive. Where's Chizpros? Chizpros is 0.8 of a second up. This might put him into P1. Let's see what the Alpine can do. Into turn 15, and coming into the final braking zone of turn 16, into Vale we come with the Alpine driver, Chizpros, to 16. Let's see what he can do. He's the only one that can realistically challenge P1 of Carmad Kyle's time. Let's see what he can do. To the line, and he goes P2 with a 136.8. It is not faster than the Aston. Luke 2 Red is improving by quite a bit as well. He could jump in to P2 or 3, somewhere around there. Spoil the Racing Bulls driver's day. Speedy is also up in his time, so watch out for both of these guys. Luke 2 Red in the Kick Sauber, about to come across the line in his home Grand Prix. Spins almost across the line, goes P3 still though. Very impressive time from the Kick Sauber. What can Speedy do? He improves to P6, and that is the end of qualifying. It is Carmad Kyle and the number 3 Aston Martin that is on pole position for the British Grand Prix in Aston's home race here in Group 4. Impressive time with a 135.4. Well done to Kyle on his improvement. He's been getting faster and faster. He was, I think, he was in a couple of races for Group 3 last season. And now he's in Group 4. Impressive drive from him. Impressive drive from Shiz Prost and Luke 2 Red in his home race for Kick Sauber. Gets into the top 3. Harold also improved to 4th. We didn't see that on our screen until later. Also, record-size grid with 16 drivers on the grid. Looks too quick for Group 4, says Thomas. Yeah, but also these are different conditions as well. Last race and the race before, he was kind of in the mid-pack, if you're talking about Kyle. So, I don't know. It's possible that he may be promoted to Group 3 later down the line. Right now, he is Group 4 pace as it stands off the time trial thing. Formation lap will begin momentarily for the Group 4 British Grand Prix, but everybody who is here, thank you so much for joining. I'm Formula Jonah, your commentator for today. Thomas says, let's see what he can do in the race. I agree. Let's see what Kyle can do in this event. So we should be getting underway in just a moment's time. Okay, formation lap is underway for the British Grand Prix in group number 4. Let's get some telemetry out on our screen as well. Tires. Soft tires for the top 2. Interesting choice. Mediums for Luke 2 Red down to Speedy. So the top 6 are spread between softs and mediums. Interesting. Very interesting, actually. Strategy is soft, medium, medium. That could be the case for sure. Is Carmad Kyle in the session? Thomas says, well done for getting this amount of drivers up to 4 groups. Looking good again. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And all of LSR appreciates that. Something happened with Kyle. Let me see. If he is not in the session, let me just send him an invite real quickly. I hope he's in. It says right now that he's not in the session. But maybe he's ghosted? Let's see. Okay, he did disconnect. So that could have title implications. So I sent him another invite. Hopefully he should be joining momentarily. I'll send him one more invite just to make sure. Where is he? There we go. Okay, so Chizpros has a really amazing opportunity here to get into P2. Let's kind of get on board with him for just a moment. He's got Luke 2 Red behind, but he's on the softs, remember. So if Kyle can't get in on the formation lap or on lap 1, this is going to be huge for Chizpros. Actually, Carmat, I think, is in, so let's see. Here we go. The 5 red lights are about to go. And we're racing in the home of Formula 1. Wonderful start from Chizpros as Luke 2 Red gets into second. Oh, already a collision down the order there as Carmat Kyle is stuck on the road. Something happened to his car. The pole sitter is down the order. Drama at the start in Britain. How's things going into turn 3, 4, and 5? Luke 2 Red trying to keep ahead of Harold. Oh, there's contact. A little bit of contact, 3 wide into that particular section. Those two drivers continue on. The Ferrari trying to take it, boys, in action. They rejoin in a horrible position. Little bit of chaos in the start of this race as the two Racing Bulls drivers get a great start to this event. Oreo into second, Speedy fourth. Hitate is in P4 ahead of a flower in the dark. Kyle's been disqualified from the session. He was not able to get back in to the session. Disappointing start to the pole sitter here, and that is so unfortunate. Zudi is meanwhile up the session. I cannot keep up with all these disconnects. It's so difficult to get people into a lobby. I know it seems like easy, but it's really not. That's why it's hard for the commentator to be the host as well. Harold in P6. Trying to make the move on waiting Thrawn. Thrawn is down to P7 now. Meanwhile, Mr. Lethal Pete, who's Group 3, is back into P9 now. Diego has also made a good start to his race in the Kick Sauber as well, so good to see that. Kick Sauber's now both in the top 10 as Chizpros starts this second lap in P1 in the Alpine. Such a disappointing disappointing start for Carmad Kyle, who was in P1. Ray is meanwhile retired in the pit lane. Not sure why, but so Chizpros leads by around a second to Oreo in the Racing Bulls. He's now full-time in the Racing Bulls after an impressive start to this season. Meanwhile, Speedy right behind as well. Oreo is in net P1, to be honest. Let's ride on board with the 29 car and see how he does. Gap is 9/10 of a second to Chizpros. Oreo's doing a really good job. But Speedy coming in, flying in that McLaren. Here he goes. Speedy's into P2. And an impressive start for the McLaren as he moves into second position. Speedy will look to make the move on Chizpros and get his McLaren into P1 in this race. Let's ride on board with the McLaren. 4/10 of a second. He is closing the gap on Chizpros. Chizpros makes a little bit of a mistake. Speedy might try and make the move as we head into the Wellington Straight. Watch out for Oreo as well. Here comes Oreo in the Racing Bulls trying to make a move on the McLaren. Speedy is going to stay in P2 though. Close the gap on Chizpros. Let's get telemetry out on our screen as well so we can see. ERS is very, very high for Speedy. Not very high for Oreo at all. So it's really between the top two right now. Chizpros burning a little bit. Speedy burning a little bit as well. Speedy's in a really, really strong position here to grab the win. We have this nice overhead shot of the top two, Alpine versus McLaren, in this race. The Racing Bulls is a little bit further back as Oreo's starting to drop back with the lower ERS mode. On board with Speedy in the McLaren. ERS enabled, DRS enabled. He's catching on Chizpros. Chizpros not using any ERS, but he's got a lot of straight line speed. Speedy stays in second. Meanwhile, Harold has got it past Hatate in the Aston Martin. Hitate? I'm American. That's my excuse. I'm gonna say Hitate. That's the best I can do. Oh, a little bit of an incident going further down the order. Cactus maybe off the track in the Red Bull. Something happened there. Zudi's back in his car meanwhile, so the Ferrari is back in this race. There's an intense battle for P8 at the moment, as the Ferrari ahead, waiting Thrawn, has a penalty of some sort. Meanwhile, Speedy gets into P1, a move that will soar McLaren into the lead of their home race in group number 4. Speedy leads ahead of Chizpros. Chizpros tires are going to start dropping back quite a bit as that Alpine trying to catch up to Speedy, but that McLaren is a rocket ship on the backstretch. Speedy's already built up the gap to 0.7 of a second to that Alpine behind. Diego is the first driver to get a 3-second time penalty meanwhile, as he is in P8 for Kick Sauber. Chizpros cannot do anything. I would pit if I was him. Meanwhile, Harold is making the move on Oreo. They're side by side into turn 16. Oreo trying to make the move, but Harold is into P3. So the Haas is actually doing really well right now in this race. Oreo has no ERS left. Neither does Harold. They need to start saving. Both of them do. Hatate is in a similar position. Mr. Lethal Pete is on the back as well. So the Mercedes trying to get into this fight for P3, which is now starting to become a battle for P1. Pete has the best performance right now as things stands with the ERS, so he's doing quite well. Here comes the Mercedes. Gets a much better line compared to Tate. Using a bit of ERS, but he's not going to make the move into Cops. Yellow flag. There's a car off the track. I think it's a Ferrari. It might be waiting Thrawn. Maybe a flower in the dark. I'm not sure. These names, these names are very interesting, I have to say. Tapapi in the Alpine, meanwhile, trying to make the move on a flower in the dark. Oh, very good line, actually, compared to the Racing Bulls. He might just get into the top 10 here. Move Alpine further up the order. He's going to send it to the inside. Very strong move from the Alpine. Moving into P10. That was impressive. Impressive stuff. Zudi and Cactus also having a battle for P12 as it stands. Cactus locks up, though, and he's on the hard, so this will be an interesting strategy to see if this will work out for him. Meanwhile, Harold has closed the gap to the Alpine in second. Chizpros in that Alpine is starting to struggle on those soft tires, as was expected, of course. On board with Harold as we come through. Maggots and Beckett's trying to make the move on the Alpine ahead. How's Oreo in this mix? Oh, meanwhile, Mr. Lethal Pete gets into P5 in the Mercedes. as it seems that Harold is into the pit lane on the mediums. Very interesting call. I was expecting it to be Chizpross, but it's not. That is very interesting. Such an unfortunate start for Carmad Kyle as well. I mean, he was in the position to win, and it was taken out before it really got going. Absolutely just horrible start to the race for him, but hopefully he'll come back stronger in the next one, and I really do hope that. Oreo's on the back of Chizpross, so there's a battle here for P2. As the Racing Bulls definitely has better tire grip than the Alpine, that's for sure. Oh, Chizpross really, and he gets a 3-second time penalty in the process. Here comes Oreo, he's got to make this move. Chizpross maybe trying to stay ahead though. He's got a lot of straight line speed if I'm being honest. Oreo might try and send it, no, thinks better of it. Very smart maneuver from Oreo. I'd anticipate the Alpine going into the pit lane. Oh, he's going in! Oh, no! Oh, no! I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. I called it. And Oreo is out of the race. That's an incident. That's a racing incident. I don't know if there's nothing that can really be done there. I got an onboard of that, though. You have to anticipate drivers coming into the pit lane, but also Chizpross has to make sure that he's not just ramming the Racing Bulls driver into the wall. I don't know what that would be. Probably like a racing incident because the safety cars now come out, and that's going to mix up the order. So like Chizpross is coming in. Oreo is trying to get around, but it's just a bad timing kind of thing between the two drivers, and I feel like it's just going to be a racing incident between the two. I called it though. I did call it. I said you got to make sure that you keep an eye on where the other drivers are. You know, if they're coming into the pit lane, because that's truly what happens. Is that some drivers, you know, are coming into the pit lane. For example, Chizpross was on softs. He was going to come into the pit lane at one point. So for Oreo, he probably should have just waited a little bit. But I mean, it's just how it goes, I guess. We'll see if they're saying anything in the chat. I'm assuming they are talking about it. Oreo's understandably upset, which is, yeah, like I said, understandable. I think it's on both drivers, you know, because like for Oreo, for example, I think he should have anticipated Chizpross probably pitting and probably should have backed out when he noticed that the Racing Bulls was coming towards the right a little bit. But I think Chizpross should also be aware that there's a driver there he's in a battle, and he should back off, let that car go ahead, and then go around the other way instead of just like assuming that the other driver is going to back off. I think it really depends on who's ahead at that point, and it really depends on POVs as well. If, for example, Chizpross knew that Oreo was right next to him, and then just eventually went for the move and anticipated Oreo to back off, I think that's more on Chizpross. The other way around, if Oreo knew that Chizpross was coming into the pit lane, and then, you know, it's kind of just, it's all situational, but I think that will be vowed as a racing incident, but the stewards would definitely have to look into that. However, what this has done is completely changed the order. Harold is now leading the race in the Haas. Mr. Lethal Pete and Speedy have come into the pit lane. Speedy has lost the lead and is now down to P5, so this has really changed a lot. So safety car is out on track after a major collision between some of the front runners, which took Oreo out of the race and gave Chizprost, I'm sure, a little bit of damage as well. Could be a penalty heading his way, could be a penalty heading Oreo's way, or could just be a racing incident. Either way, it is unfortunate to see both of them have that incident. Oreo will come back stronger in the next one tomorrow, though, from the Group 3 race, I assume. And hopefully we'll get a better result for the Racing Bulls driver here and the Haas driver there. Tomorrow, of course, is Group 2 and Group 3. Today is Group 1. We already had the LMU race. So 3 races. First time that's ever happened in an LSR. 3 live streams. I was supposed to not commentate this one. It's kind of been a chaotic couple of hours. I was anticipating our manager, our Group 4 manager, to host the lobby and have everything, but then he backed out at the last minute, and so I had to kind of come in real quickly. I was live streaming at the time, a WEC race in Bahrain, and I had to kind of like abruptly change my schedule, which really affected a lot. And so if I seemed kind of distracted or the lobby was late or whatever, which it was, that's why, because I wasn't expected to do this. I did the best I can in a situation that's not really in my control. And we'll be definitely making some changes to the lineups of people, people's status, because if there's just no order, if there's no like trust or reliability, you know, it kind of affects things. And I don't mean to be harsh or anything like that. I just mean to be realistic, and just trying to figure out everything. I'm not saying that one person's to blame or whatever. I'm saying that it's just a couple of different circumstances that just made things very difficult today, for me in particular. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I had a difficult day, or oh, feel bad for me. It's just, I'm saying that, yeah, it was a difficult start and it took a while. So we should be getting the safety car in this lap. We are going to get a couple more racing laps, 16 laps to go of the British Grand Prix in Group 4. Like I said, later, in about just under an hour, we're going to get Group 1 racing here, which is the top division. Very excited to see how that's going to turn out, with so many factors on the line. A lot to look forward to, of course, in the Group 1 race. There we go, safety car in this lap. We're going to ride on board with the Haas and see when he goes. All right, and he's going. Very good start from Harold. And the Haas will be in P1 by around a second to Chizprost in P2. Remember, Hatate and, Tate, sorry. I think that's how you pronounce it. The Aston, A Flower in the Dark, Topapi, and Cactus are all in the mediums. Johnny is on the softs. Oh, speaking of a car off the track in the background, Cactus off the track with no wing. That's really going to hurt his race. Something happened there. Johnny also has wing damage. Maybe contact between the two? Maybe? Don't know. Battle here for P3 as 4 cars are in line here. Speedy trying to make the move on Luke 2 Red for P4 as it stands. Here comes the McLaren using a bit of ERS. He's going to try and make the move, but he backs off a little bit. That might allow Pete to get into a position as well. Speedy goes very wide. That allows Pete to take the maneuver in the bottom. But it seems that the McLaren will stay in P5 for now. Let's take a look at this battle here. Pete trying to make a little bit of a move into the inside. Speedy stays there, though. Very strong maneuver from both. Pete is in a position to potentially grab a win here as well because he's got 70 ERS, 70% ERS, and he's in a very, very strong place. DRS now enabled. Diego is also on 62% ERS, so this should help him to get into the mix as well. A Flower in the Dark is trying to make the move for P7 on Diego. Up at the front, Chizpross has closed the gap to just under a second, so he's going to have DRS on the Haas ahead. The battle is for the win. On board with the Alpine. Gap is 0.6 of a second. He should have ERS heading into the Hainer Straight. 0.7. Patate is now a second behind Chizpross, so the Aston is not in DRS range. This is good news. Chizpross using ERS and DRS to try and close the gap on Harold. Very strong position here for the Alpine. Meanwhile, Speedy and Luke 2 Red side by side into turn 15 we come, and they're going to try and make a move. A little bit of contact, it seems, between the two drivers. Luke 2 Red stays ahead. Watch out for Pete as well, trying to get in the mix. This is a 3-car battle for P4 as things stand. Very impressive stuff from all three. As here comes Speedy, trying to make the move on the kick. Sauber ahead. On board with the McLaren, heading into turn 1 and 2. He's maybe going to try and make the move into turn 3. Luke 2 Red defended to the inside line, trying to keep the maneuver. Speedy stays behind, though, and these two will continue to stay in their positions. Speedy's got a lot of ERS and DRS to spare, though. Luke 2 Red, oh, contact between the two! Contact between the three! What happened there? Speedy's gonna get back out on track, but contact between three drivers there. It seems that Luke spun. Speedy hit the back of him, or Luke got lag in some way. Thomas is saying in the comments below, the lag. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I don't know what is going on here with a lot of these drivers. There's a lot of lag going on. Pete has somehow got into P4. Diego is now in P5 as Luke 2 Red trying to make a move on Flower. Luke has got a lot of ERS, so he's actually... he's not really been hurt too much from that incident. It's Speedy who's been really hurt from the incident as he spun. Here comes Luke. Oh, a little bit of a spin there. Chizpross has closed the gap to 0.6 of a second. He is chasing down Harold, but remember, he's got a 3-second time penalty as well, which could affect his race. Gap is 0.8 of a second. Chizpross does have DRS, but the gap will stay the same. Here comes Pete on Patate to the inside at turn 15, and the Mercedes gets ahead of the Aston. Here comes Luke 2 Red on Flower. A lot of ERS to spare here for Luke. None for Flower, actually. Mr. Lethal Pete sets the fastest lap of the race. And this proves why he is going to Group 3. He was a Group 4 driver, now he's going up to Group 3. Because he's just rapid. Remember, he started the very back of the grid as well, viewers. Not a lot to talk about, to be honest. Gap is now 1.5 seconds to Harold, so as Tate gets a 3-second time penalty in the Aston. Alpine in the pit lane here for a wing change, it would seems. Mr. Lethal Pete has caught up to Chizpross in a fight for P2. He's just out of DRS range, but he's probably going to chase after 0.8 of a second now, so they should be able to get into the fight for P2 as it stands. These guys should be going to the end. Tate is probably going to have to come into the pit lane. Same thing with Cactus and Johnny. Probably Flower in the Dark is coming into the pit lane. Let's see what he can do. What strategy is he going for? Mediums? So he's come out on a fresh set of mediums, as I predicted, just FYI. Chizpross trying to hold back Mr. Lethal Pete, who's now just gotten to DRS range, so he'll close the gap a little bit more. These top three are separated by just around a second each. Riding on board with the Mercedes as he closes the gap. Tate is into the pit lane as well, probably for a new set of mediums. Let's see what he does. Sorry, there's not much action to go off of, guys. I wish there was, but we do have a battle here for P4, so let's see what this... Oh my goodness, Zudi trying to make the move on Luke 2 Red. Oh, the Ferrari spins into the grass, saves it though, and his teammate's gonna go past. Waiting Thrawn is now into P5. Ferrari on a really good comeback, actually, after a difficult start to this race. Meanwhile, up at the front, Mr. Lethal Pete is looking to make the move on Chizprost. It's gonna go to the inside line, and as Thomas pointed out in the comments below, Pete is probably gonna grab this win, and I believe he could. Meanwhile, Zudi has left the session. I'm gonna try and get him back in. There you go, Zudi. There's another invite. Chizprost is in. Interesting strategy here from the Alpine as he comes in from the heart. Very fascinating. So Chizprost has exited on the mediums in P6, just behind the two Ferraris, about 3 seconds to them. He's going to start using a little bit of ERS to try and catch up to the front runners. Mr. Lethal Pete is meanwhile closed the gap to just a second. Yeah, I agree with Thomas here. I think that he's saying, I mean, he had the gap, but maybe just to P3. And I agree. I think Chizprost maybe should get into P4, P3, somewhere around there. He'll get past. Oh, Pete goes off the track. Breaks the 150-meter board. That was a weird situation. Sounds like my glitch where I'm driving and then the controls are delayed. Mr. Lethal Pete has unfortunately dropped back to 1.7 seconds. Harold is now into P1. Mr. Lethal Pete, 1.4 seconds now. So the gap is closing with just under a couple seconds. Oh, there's an Aston off the track. What's going on here? Tate is off the track. He's coming back on. He's ghosted, but he's going to exit in P10. That's not good news for him. He's going to lose a lot of positions in this race. Meanwhile, here comes Zudi on... Chizprost on Zudi. Chizprost gets up into P5 now. So there's a move for the lead, or for P5. He's now going to start chasing down the top P4 and P3. Top two runners stay out. 1.2 seconds separates first and second position. It's Harold versus Pete for the win. Speedy is into the pit lane. Interesting. So he's also coming in. These are weird stops, as Thomas just pointed out. Speedy is in for the sauce. Interesting strategy there. Gap is 1 second. Mr. Lethal Pete has almost closed the gap to the Haas. 9/10. Harold, 7/10 of a second. This is getting really, really intense here. Thank you for the compliment, saying good commentating. Appreciate it. I wasn't supposed to commentate today, so I was also commentating on the live stream before this, so my voice is a little loud. That's why I'm not as enthusiastic. Almost done. Very good camera angle, by the way, of Mr. Lethal Pete's Mercedes. I won't be doing commentating tomorrow, but I will be racing tomorrow in Group 3. Later, in about 20 to 30 minutes, Vacant is going to be commentating Group 1. Then tomorrow, we should have Jarvis Coy back on commentary for Group 2. And then Group 3 will be Jose, I believe. Or maybe Gabby. I'm not really sure right now for Group 3. I'll be racing in Group 3, and Group 2 I can't make anyway. Too fast for me anyway. Gap is 5/10 of a second on board with the Mercedes as we come to the final 3 laps of the British Grand Prix in a fight for Group 4 honors. Harold versus Pete. Pete has better, what's it called? He has better tires. Chizpross is also chasing down Waiting Thrawn. This is a battle for P3 as the Alpine is going to look to make the move for 3rd position here and then try and extend the gap as best as possible off of the Ferrari. But the Ferrari might be getting a podium here. Ferrari were having such a difficult race and they've turned this in to a double top 5 finish as things stand right now. This is absolutely a wonderful comeback from them. They've done an absolutely amazing job. Thomas says, more tire life, better tire management. Yep, I agree. And I think that is part of the reason why Mr. Lethal Pete is going up to Group 3. Because he is just a really, really well-driven driver. Here comes Chizpross, and the move has been made up into P3. And now all he has to do is extend the gap to 3 seconds to keep P3. Meanwhile, up at the front, Mr. Lethal Pete and Harold battling in the final 2 laps. This is the penultimate laps. Just 4 DRS zones to come in the battle for P1. Mr. Lethal Pete isn't using any ERS. He's just closing the gap ever so steadily. Very amazing job there. 5/10 of a second. Let's see if he can do this. We did not expect it to be a battle between these two at the finish line. It was supposed to be Chizprost and Carmack Kyle, but it's changed quite a bit. Chizprost using Mr. Lethal Pete using ERS. Meanwhile, Chizprost has gained about 1.5 seconds on Waiting Throne. He's got to gain another 1.5 seconds. Actually, he's got to gain around 2 seconds. Now just 1 second, actually. Chizprost might have P3 here. Oh, Pete gets a little bit out of shape out of the last corner, and that might have just decided the win here. Pete has to use all the ERS he can to close the gap on the Haas. This is it. This is it. Mr. Lethal Pete gets a 3-second time penalty. No, that's it. That is it. That is the finishing order. Harold will most likely win this race, even if he's overtaken. Unless some sort of incident happens, but man, oh man, this is it. Oh, this is so unfortunate for Pete. He knows that. You can tell by the way he's driving right now. He's just letting Harold kind of keep this one. But well done to Harold. What a phenomenal result. He's now full-time in Haas. This is just his first race as a full-time Haas driver, and now he is officially here and setting the benchmark as one of the fastest drivers in Group 4. Pete is going to try and make that move, maybe to the inside line. Here we go, Mercedes versus Haas. Pete knows it, though. There's nothing he can do, even if he made the overtake. Harold to the line. Pete trying to give everything he can. In a very, very intense battle, Harold will claim this victory for Haas Formula 1 team. Money Ground Haas F1 claimed the victory in Harold's first race for the team. Pete is going to come home in P2, and the gap is just 3.1 seconds. If Chizprost loses a 10th or 2, he will lose P3, but right now he is on for P3 as things stand, unless things change, and I don't think they will. Chizprost will come across the line and take P3, another podium on the board for Alpine. Ferrari, though, P4 and P5, what a race for them after the start that they had. They kept it consistent, and they secured a double top 5 finish. Absolutely incredible stuff. Brilliant work from Harold, CF1, Harold 91. That is it for Group 4 in Great Britain. We're on to Group 1 next, followed by Group 2, then Group 3. We'll get the podium celebrations and then we'll end this off. Nice race from everybody here, though. That was pretty fantastic stuff. Harold pumps the fist in the air as he says, "Thank you very much for that." He is the winner. The celebrations begin here in Group 4 as Haas claimed the victory. MoneyGram Haas F1 team, of course. And that is it from Great Britain. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us here. We will see you all in the next one. Stay tuned for Group 1, which is the fastest division, of course. And I'm going to grab the race results as well while I have the chance here. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure I get that. Okay, Thank you all so much for joining. I will see you all later on. Enjoy the racing this coming week in Great Britain. Best of luck to the other 3 tiers. And yeah, I'm Formula Jonah signing off.